A very good morning to you wherever you're listening to us. You are welcome to another edition of In the Papers, a newspaper review program on iPower 102.7 FM, Emurele, Owo, Ondo State. This is a program where we'll be bringing you stories from different newspapers in Nigeria. I am ABDULRASAQ ALAWAYE. We shall be reviewing top stories across various newspapers in Nigeria today. For today, we have the Punch newspaper, we have the Tribune newspaper and the Nation newspaper, and also we have These Days newspaper, the cable newspapers, and the Daily Post. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll give you details of the top stories headlines. Welcome back. We are still listening to In the Papers, the newspaper review program on iPower 102.7 FM. We'll be starting with today's headline from the Punch newspaper. We have the biggest headline on the Punch newspaper. We have workers' compensation. Federal government backtracks the NLC old grounds. We have APC opposition clash over by-election result in 12 states on the Punch newspaper as well. Still on the Punch newspaper, we have lawmaker under fire over bribe for bill allegation. Also, we have Nigerians factory go local to survive currency turmoil. Still on the Punch newspaper, we have 2 Nigerians died of suspected poisoning in Libya. Now to the Nation newspaper, we have retired federal workers to earn additional 32,000 naira monthly. Also on the Nation newspaper, we have the First Lady lift 500 women with 25 million grants in Ekiti State. Moving away from that, going to the Tribune newspaper, we have by-election, we have the Nigerians electoral process as deteriorate under Tinubu, says ADC. Moving on from that to the Nation newspaper, we have on the main Afro basket, we have the Tigers romp into the quarterfinal after trashing Cameroon. Moving to the cable newspaper, we have Akpabio returns from London, dismiss rumor of ill health. And on the Guardian newspaper, we have by-election opposition fragile, opposed as APC's tighten hold with 12 of 16 seats. While on the Daily Post, we have on the by-election, we have ADC LP dead in Anambra, says Soludo as he mocked Peter Obi. And also on the Daily Post, we have food prices remain high despite fourth inflation decline, says CPPE. That concludes the headline for today. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll give you details of the story's info. We are glad to have you back. You are still listening to iPower 102.7 FM. The program is In the Paper. We now proceed to the details of today. Starting from the Punch newspaper, we have the federal government has pledged to reverse deduction from the employees' compensation scheme managed by the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund to ease tension with the Nigerian Labour Congress following the threat of a nationwide strike by the union. Last week, the NLC accused the federal government of diverting 40% of the NSITF contribution to the government's treasury. The NLC said the move undermined workers' social protection and demand both an immediate refund and full reconstitution of the National Pension Commission Board. It warned that non-compliance could trigger industrial action nationwide. The Employees Compensation Scheme is a social insurance program providing financial support to employees who suffer work-related injuries, illness, disability, and death. The scheme is funded entirely by the employer's contributions, typically around 1% of the monthly payroll, with no contribution required from the employees. In a letter to the NLC dated August 16, 2025, the NSITF Managing Director Oluwaseun confirmed that the deduction from workers' compensation contribution had occurred, but said they were not diverted off fund. The letter was also sent to the Minister of Labour and Finance, also to the Director General of the Budget Office and the Accountant General of the Federation. To get information on this, check the Punch newspaper with the headline, Workers' Compensation, Federal Government Backtrack as NLC holds grounds. Still on the Punch newspaper, we have the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, and the African Democratic Congress and the People's Democratic Party on Sunday differed over the outcome of the by-election held on Saturday, August 16 across 16 constituencies in 12 states. While the APC captured majority of the seats, the PDP recorded wins in Ibadan, Oyo State. The Anambra State, the NNPP, emerged victorious in Kano. The All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, secured Anambra State. The ADC, however, did not win in any constituency. The APC won in 12 constituencies, ABGA triumphed in 2, and the PDP and NNPP each won a constituency. However, the ADC faulted the by-election, alleging it was marred by intimidation and corruption. For more details on this, check the Punch newspaper with the headline, APC Opposition Clash over by-election results in 12 states. Moving on to the cable newspaper, we have Godswill Akpabio, President of the Senate, returned to Nigeria in wee hour of Monday after what his media office described as a short vacation in London. Akpabio arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at 4 a.m. and was received at the presidential wing by the senator, aides, and supporters. His return comes amid rumor on the social media that he was critically ill and hospitalized in London. Speaking with journalists at the airport, Akpabio dismissed the reports, describing them as in imagination of perverse. For details of this, check the cable newspaper. Still moving on with the Punch newspaper today, we have the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project has called on Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas to urgently revert the allegation made by the Rep member Ibrahim Ayo to Anti-Corruption Agency for investigation and corruption of the suspected perpetrators. Jigawa lawmaker Ayo last week alleged that the House member paid between 1 million and 3 million to have their bill presented at the Green Chamber. However, some of his colleagues in the House dismissed the allegation, insisting that Ayo must prove his claim when the House resumes plenary. To get the full story of this, check the Punch newspaper with the headline, Lawmaker under fire over bribe for bill allegations. I'm still on the Punch newspaper this morning, where the Nigerian manufacturing sector is turning inward for survival as the impact of the Naira devaluation and foreign exchange scarcity continue to reshape supply chain across the country. This is according to a new report by the Financial Times on Sunday, which highlighted how volatility in the forex market is forcing companies to reduce their dollar reliances and turn to local raw material sourcing. According to the report, firms that previously depend on raw material import are increasingly embracing local supply chain to ease pressure on foreign exchange. The decision followed the central bank's decision to float the Naira as part of President Bola Tinubu's reform agenda aimed to reviving growth and attracting investors, which trigger unprecedented volatility. To get insights on this story, check the Punch newspaper with the headline, Nigerian factories go local to survive currency turmoil. For a reaction on this, you can join us on our YouTube page by searching iPower 102.7 FM or connect with us with our studio line via 081 65 52 4699. 081 65 52 4699. We'll go on a short musical break. When we come back, we'll give you details of further story. You are still listening to iPower 102.7 FM. Glad to have back on board. Now to the Nation newspaper. We have all retired federal employees under the Contribution Pension Scheme (CPS) are soon to start receiving a 32,000 naira monthly pension increase. The sum would pay to each of them from a 758 billion naira bond approved by the President Bola Tinubu for clearing all outstanding pension liabilities. President Tinubu okayed the bond to ensure that the retirees also benefited from the National Minimum Wage Amendment Act 2024 and the consequential adjustment. The 32,000 naira is a baseline every retiree in education, health sectors, as well as the security and the armed forces on the CPS will now earn monthly, irrespective of his or her accumulative savings. To get more stories on this or information on this, hear the Nation newspaper with the headline, Retired Federal Workers to earn additional 32,000 naira monthly. Away from that to the Punch newspaper, we have two Nigerians that are identified simply as Collins and Osaz have reportedly died in Tripoli, the capital city of Libya, under circumstances suspected to be linked into poisoning. Punch correspondent gathered on Saturday that the victims, who were both residing in the Mastra part of the country, had traveled to Tripoli on July 20 with a friend whose identity is yet to known. Sources previous to the incident said after spending some days there, the friend advised the two to return with him to Mastrata. However, allegedly they refused, insisting that they want to stay longer. For details of this, check the Punch newspaper headline with two Nigerians dies of suspected poison in Libya. Moving to the Nation newspaper, we have the First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu at the weekend gave 500 women in Ekiti State 50,000 naira each under the Renew Hope Initiative RHI Economic Empowerment Program. Mrs. Tinubu, who was represented by the wife of Ekiti State Governor and Senate and State Coordinator of RHI, Dr. Olayemi Oyebanji, explained that the Women Economic Empowerment Program was in conjunction with the Tony Elumelu Foundation. The First Lady urged the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the funds, stressing that the gesture was not a loan but a grant as well as a seed of renewed hope to recapitalize their businesses. To check the story, you can check the Nation newspaper with the headline, First Lady lifts 500 women with 25 million grants in Ekiti State. For more details. Moving on to the Guardian newspaper, we have, despite widespread public anger over economic hardship and insecurity, the recent by-election across 12 states have reinforced the dominance of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), which claimed 12 of 16 seats, exposing the deepening decline of the People Democratic Party (PDP) and the fragile of other opposition platforms. The poll, organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), were held in 16 senatorial and federal state constituencies. Some political leaders saw them as a test of influence of frontline platforms, including the ruling All Progressive Congress, the embattled main opposition party, that's the PDP, and the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP. confusion and leaders despite in the Labour Party (LP) as well as the New Wave Coalition opposition party under the African Democratic Congress marred their participation. The LP also complained of intimidation, vote buying, and manipulation of the process. To get details into the story, check the Guardian newspaper. Away from that, to the Nation newspaper, we have the Nigerian Tigers have sealed a place in the quarterfinals at the ongoing FIBA Men AfroBasket with a thrilling 99-90 victory over Cameroon in the final Group D match in Angola. The win saw Nigeria top the group with a perfect 3-0 record after dispatching Madagascar and the reigning champion Tunisia in the previous matches. Yesterday, both Nigeria and Cameroon entered the high-stake clash, aware that the victory could guarantee an automatic berth in the quarterfinal, while the loser would have to navigate the more uncertain qualification route. For further stories or for more details of this story, check the Nation newspaper with the headline. Men AfroBasket, we have the Tigers romp into the quarterfinal after thrashing Cameroon. We'll go on a short break. When it comes back, we'll give you details of the further stories. Thank you for staying with us. You are listening to In the Paper, a newspaper reviewing program on iPower 102.7 FM in Murele or Ondo State. You can call us or connect with us on our YouTube by searching iPower 102.7 FM, or you can call us or connect with us via our WhatsApp on 08165524699. 08165524699. Moving on with the next story. We have the news coming from the Tribune newspaper. We have the African Democratic Congress (ADC) has expressed concern over the conduct of the by-election held on Saturday across 13 states and 16 constituencies of the Federation. Says the exercise once again exposed how far Nigeria's electoral process has deteriorated under the President Bola Tinubu's and the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). In a statement issued on Sunday morning by the ADC National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, the opposition party noted that the elections were riddled with widely reported violence, vote buying, manipulation, and other administrative lapses. To check this story, you can check the Tribune newspaper with the headline, Nigeria's electoral process has deteriorated under Tinubu, says ADC. Moving on with the story coming from the Punch newspaper, we have the plan for distribution by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery with 44,000 compressed natural gas powered truck could not start on Friday due to the logistic challenges in China. The $20 billion Lekki-based firm had earlier announced plan to kick off the direct fuel distribution exercise with the 44,000 CNG powered truck. The truck were ordered from China to deliver in Lagos for Dangote direct fuel distribution. However, the plan could not materialize because of the company was only able to receive 450 trucks. It was learnt that 150 orders would deliver next week, making a total of 600 trucks. To get this story, check the Punch newspaper with the headline, Shipping prices delay Dangote's 3,550 CNG truck, 450 arrived. Now away from that to the Daily Post newspaper, we have the Central for Promotion of Private Enterprise (CPPE) has said food prices rises persist despite the fourth consecutive decline in headline inflation in July 2025. The director of CPPE, Muda Yusuf, disclosed this in a statement recently in reaction to Nigeria's July inflation figure. Report says the Nigerian headline inflation fell to 21.88% in July. Still on the Daily Post newspaper, and non-exist in Anambra State. He remarked and said on Sunday during an event in the Nanka area of the state to celebrate the victory of All Progressive Grand Alliance (ABGA) in the by-election. Soludo also mocked Obi, who support ADC candidates in the poll, insisting that the party does not exist in Anambra State. For details of this story, check the Daily Post newspaper. Away from that, to this day's newspaper, we have Nigeria as rising to the forefront of the African digital economy with powerful ecosystem that is both homegrown and resilient, fueled by the government initiative, global tech enterprise, and the thriving startup ecosystem, propelling a Thrive setup ecosystem. Nigerians future with tech opportunities in talent, development, and digital infrastructure to help achieve the goal of $1 trillion economy by 2030. Central to Nigeria, the African ambition of digital sovereign lie in the opportunity to upskill, operate, and expand grassroots talent and also organizing. Perfectly timing to support this ambition in the inauguration or the edition of GITAS Nigerian, which will act as a convergence point for key local and international decision makers, not only in tech but across multiple sectors embracing digital transformation, held under the patronage of the President Bola Tinubu GCFR. GITAS Nigerian premises across Abuja and Lagos. For details of this story, check this day's newspaper. And lastly, from my end, we have the day's newspaper. Its report and goes: the Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC) has assured telecom subscribers of improved services quality across networks by December this year, following the 50% hike in telecom tariff that was approved by the NCC earlier this year. The assurance is, however, contrary to the initial promises given by the telecom operators that telecom service would improve across networks after 3 months from the date of implementation of the 50% hike in telecom tariff, which took effect in March this year. The executive vice chairman of NCC, Dr. Aminu Maida, who gave the renewed assurance during the media parley at the weekend in Lagos, said subscribers would begin to experience improved service quality after 9 months from the March implementation date, which is from December this year. For this story, you can check this day's newspaper. Many thanks for joining us on today's edition of In the Paper on iPower 102.7 FM, Emurele, Owo, Ondo State. Remember to be a good citizen of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Do have a wonderful day. Up until next time, I'm your host, ABDULRASAQ. Do have a productive day and good morning.